Hey guys, how's it going? Back with another little video for you guys, and I'm going to be in command of the Lizardmen, by far my favourite army so far. I'm going to be facing off against Pigeon Corps vampire counts. So let's get underway guys and have a little look at the armies. So this is the build I've used previously on the channel, and it's currently my favourite build by far. So for those who don't know this build, on the flanks I like to stick some skinks, one set with javelins and one normal set. I do that on both flanks, just for a little bit of side harass and to make my line a bit wider. But the real meat of my army is right here in the centre. So I've got 3 units of Temple Guard. These are the elite of the elite, very tough, awesome looking warriors. As you can see, they're very menacing with their gold spikes, little feathers and tusks and bones and glowy halberds. These ones in particular are the regiment renowned called the Star Chamber Guardians. These guys, apart from being a little bit tougher, also get the awesome ability called Guardian. So they give 18% physical resist to all my lords and heroes when they're close by. And considering they're going to be rolling around to my lord here, that's very nice indeed. Now of course I've got a couple of the big dinosaurs, everyone's favourites. On the right hand side here I have a Bastiladon. He's going to be mounted with the Revivification Crystal for a little bit of healing. And up front I've got an Ancient Salamander for a bit of that long range poke. Now on the left hand side I do have a big feral Carnosaur here, the big T-Rex, who's going to work as a kind of bodyguard for my lord to Halloween, who's going to be up here on his big pimp chair, the engine of the gods. He does quite a lot of damage, gives poison to nearby enemies, and has some pretty cool spells. So I've given him Transformation of Kadon to summon some manticores, backline harass, and to get on some squishy targets. I've also got Flock of Doom to deal with big clumps of chaff that the vampire counts like to take. I've also got a few more kind of little buffs and some spells that come with the chair itself. Now my opponent today is going to be Vampire Counts. I don't know too much about Vampire Counts, I haven't played them yet. But as we can see, he's gone for a front line of cheap zombies, including the Regiment Renowned version, just to slow me down. In the back, he does have a couple of units of Skeleton Spearmen. They're going to be pretty decent in this matchup. They're fairly cheap, but on the other hand, they have anti-large and I'm going to poke down my dinosaurs. In the very far back, he does have the Sternsmen. These guys are the Regiment Renowned Graveguard. They're very cool looking with their little red skull emblems. They're pretty damn tough, and these guys have regeneration. Luckily for me, though, they are weak to fire. Now, most of my opponent's points has gone into his Air Force. So if you have a little look at his left flank here, he does have one small unit of Fellbats and a big, nasty Terrorgeist. In the back, he does have a unit of Vargeist. On the right-hand flank, he has one more Fellbat, one more big, nasty Terrorgeist, and his lord today, Manfred von Karstein, cackling away on his undead horse. He's a wizard, but he can also fight pretty decent in combat, so he's going to be flying over the battle, trying to be a big pain. My opponent also has 2 corpse carts, just to buff up his front line and help them hold. And I assume my opponent's plan was to hold me in the front and do as much damage as possible with these nasty flying units. So let's see how we both get on. As you can see, the Salamander has fired some shots in, so we're repositioning to get a few better targets. Now I see my opponent is trying to snipe at my poor little skinks on the flanks, so I drag them in a bit closer just to my main battle line. As we can see, the big dinosaurs have got into the monster mash in the middle, and we're slamming into these zombies. Now I'm trying to take out these Sternsmen with my Salamander. My opponent sees this and tries to jump on him to assassinate him. So what I do guys, I drag him through these Star Chamber Guardians here, who are perfect to deal with anti-large, forces my opponent to follow through them if he wants to get on my Salamander. It's a really good tactic to keep him alive. He does have 75 speed, so he's a quick little fella. As you can see, the big dinosaurs come in just to scare off this little airstrike. I do summon a feral Manticore here. He's going to be trying to hop on some of these corpse carts, which are holding my opponent's front line together, and really just pick them apart. My opponent is trying to snipe him with some breath attacks to hurt to Halloween, but he's not too phased, and I always do have the big healing. Now, Ancient Salamander here is going for some absolute Kobe's, dipping them over top of these Temple Guard, who are currently holding off 5 different units and doing some really good damage. As you can see, the Halloween is powering up his big spell of Doom, and is shooting that laser all the way down this line, doing some insane damage. You can see it just melts some of these units apart. Now, I know these are some rather cheap, chaffy units, but it still does a huge amount of damage and does some serious damage to these elite Sternsmen. So I detached the Temple Guard. I was a bit worried to do some friendly fire, which I am prone to doing, and get them in on top of this big Terrorgeist target, which is nice and juicy for them. You can see my Salamander has disengaged, trying to get a bit of a better vantage point, he's going to be shooting some long shots over to try and help out my Bastardon. He's got himself a little overextended. It's a rather sticky situation against the Skeleton Warrior. And my opponent is trying to chase him down with some Vargheists, but once again, I just drag him through some Temple Guard. If we want to get to him, then have to go through these rather nasty, tough units. Do summon another Manticore there, just to chase around some units. And as you can see, my opponent does keep trying to come in for the Alpha Strike, trying to do some serious damage, snipe out my Lords. But with these elite guards with them, the Star Chamber Guardians and another unit of Temple Guard, there's not much he can do there, or anti-large, and that's where my opponent's main punching power is. As you can see, we've managed to scare off Manfred, and my opponent does something really nice here. I really like this. It's very similar to what I do with the Salamander. He summons a unit of zombies so these big terror guys can escape through them, blocking up my units. Salamander has over here re-engaged to be firing some shots in. So we have an overarching view, guys. I've got a couple of skinks on the left-hand flank who have very bravely managed to hold up this big clump. And I've managed to drag my opponent into this big ball of death in the middle. This is perfect for my army. It's designed to take the enemy, drag them into this big mosh pit where you stack these dinosaurs on top of these anti-large Temple Guard, get the Star Chamber Guardians in there to give that big resist bonus, and just pull the enemy apart. There's not too much they can do. At the moment, it seems to be working rather well. Salamander is firing back into these units over here, doing some damage to the Skeleton Warriors and Sternsmen. Carnivorous gets in and does some serious work. You can see my main blob is all kind of held up at the moment, fighting down these zombies. The flanks are being secured. My opponent's securing the left side, and I'm securing the right hand side here. As you see, all the units are slowly converting to the middle, just like I want, getting this big blob of death. My opponent, though, is aware of this. He's been trying to do a few more breath attacks to weaken down Henowin, who is going to be popping another big ray of death to try and damage these Skeleton Warriors. And my opponent, very smartly this time, knowing what happened previously, pulls them out of the way, suffering minimal damage. I may even get a little bit of friendly fire, but nothing the Temple Guard can't handle. So as I pull all my forces in, you can see my Salamander is slightly isolated at the back here. He's got some friends nearby. My opponent takes this as an opportunity to try and get in there and snipe him out once more. They've been trying this all game, and once again, like previously, he's going to skitter away, the little fast fella here, and then drag my opponent through these rather nasty Temple Guards. He's going to come up to his big brother here, complain about the mean bully, and big brother's going to have absolutely none of that, running in to beat up this terror guy. Temple Guard are coming in, and my opponent is trying to get back up into the air. So as you guys have seen, the terror guys is a flying unit. However, flying units can't just pop up into the air. They have to get a bit of distance between them and the opponent so they can take off. And as you can see, he's trying to run away, but he's been chased down by these rather brave skinks and big dinosaurs. And as long as they're nipping at his heels, he won't be able to take off. Now, luckily for me, I tactically forgot a unit of skinks on the side here. I'm going to be throwing some javelins in. I'll be able to pin him in so he can't escape. Now, the javelins do poison, so he'll be slowed down, allowing these rather slow dinosaurs to nip at his heels, do some damage, and stop him from taking off. Now, in my excitement to chase down this terrorgeist, I did leave my Salamander behind. Once again, he's going to be running away, and the Temple Guard are coming up to try and give him a little bit of protection. Manfred does the same thing, trying to summon some zombies to isolate the Temple Guard, but they're just going to run over them. My numbers are just too much now. If you ever find yourself outnumbered as vampire counts, it normally means things are going rather bleak. So I've managed to isolate this terrorgeist over here, and these sneaky skinks will be claiming all the glory and taking him down. Now my opponent has no land units left, only flying units, so he's going to be forced to land. And finally he gets on the target he wanted all game, the Ancient Salamander, who will now hold his ground as he knows all his friends are sweeping in for the killing blow. Well played to my opponent there. Let's go to the end screen and see how things played out. So as you can see, some of my units got some crazy kill counts, which is expected against vampire counts. Okay, they bring a lot of chaff, but still, 236 kills on the Salamander really makes him the MVP. He was able to shoot down these Sternsmen, who are quite a tough unit, and basically new to them. They only managed to get 4 kills through the battle. The Salamander's very fast, which I like, and what I tend to do is drag my opponent through the Temple Guards with these big monsters and Ancient Salamander. Now this works really well and is currently my favourite build, and I've had great success against multiple different armies. Well played to Pigeon Call though. He did very good leading his vampire counts. I can't say too much about his army as I don't really know vampire counts. I haven't played with them, but I will in the next couple of weeks try and get involved with them. At the moment I've been mainly focusing on 1 or 2 armies and 1 or 2 builds as I try and get better at the game. Now guys, I do have a ton of really awesome replays with the Lizardmen that I do want to put up for you, but it is with the same build. So I don't know if you guys really want to see the same build over and over again. It is against different opponents, Tomb Kings, Bretonnia, and in some free-for-alls. I will be experimenting with some different units in the Lizardmen roster as well. Really want to try out those Regiment of Renowned Salamanders. So I'll probably be dotting those Lizardmen videos between other different videos of other factions, but if you do just really want to see some Lizardmen, let me know. Now Pigeon Coy seemed a really nice guy. He was speaking to me before the battle. He'd actually seen me in a different video on someone else's channel where I managed to do fairly good, and I think I've accidentally got some kind of unwarranted reputation as a good player. So he was rather scared, which is actually kind of nice though to have that acknowledgement. But well played to him, fought with a lot of honour there and fought to the death. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. I'll be doing a campaign probably next week when I get roughly close to my 10th video. And it's going to be between Itic Claw, the Mad Genius for Skaven, or to Henowin, who we've just seen here, the Religious Zealots. If you guys have a preference on which one you'd like me to play, just let me know. So peace out guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time.